President Tinubu in Germany today told foreign investors that the Nigerian people are the nation's primary assets. And tonight, we shall be dissecting in detail the ripples following the judgment of the appeal court which sacked Governor Caleb Mutuanga of Plateau State. It seems that the streets of Plateau State is also seeing some kind of protest. And of course, politicians are talking. We'll be dissecting the legal and the political angle to all of these issues tonight. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Wakimale in Abuja. Let's tell you quickly that President Tinubu is being in Berlin, Germany, where he's joined other heads of state and government of CWA member countries and bilateral partners, as well as heads of international organizations in Berlin for the G20 CWA conference taking place alongside the 4th G20 Investment Summit, co-hosted by the German government and the German business associations. The summit deliberates on the immediate enhancement of the economic and business cooperation with a view to outlining concrete measures to boost investments in critical areas such as energy, trade, infrastructure, and new technologies, among others. President Tinubu today told the international investors that beyond Nigeria's natural resources, the people of Nigeria, who are highly educated, highly skilled, and naturally industrious, are the primary asset and advantage the country wields over other nations in the global race for new investments. Let's tell you some of the stories that we are monitoring for you. Is a situation in Rivers State, which is escalating. The factional speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Edison here, has held a press conference today in Port Harcourt. He's raised an alarm over the safety of his life and that of his family members, as he insists he was allegedly and deliberately attacked by some policemen led by a police superintendent who he called Irikefe London Owen. The press conference comes on the heels of the incident which occurred on Sunday night, where Edison alleges that the attempt to penetrate his compound lasted for an hour.
Now my family has been in shock, my wife and my 2 little children. And it's so painful that people can go to that level. You know, my children have not been able to go to school. Nobody slept through the night. Shock. I can, for whatsoever reason, which of course we all know is connected to the political people that see the state now, you don't care about people's family, you now attack, because obviously the plan was to forcefully enter into my residence, shoot, and maybe kill everybody.
That's Edison here, a factional speaker in the House of Assembly in Rivers State. Is following the impeachment attempt on Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Well, we've gotten more on that because the Commissioner of Police is speaking also on the matter, but all of those we have for you in our political roundup stories.
The Senate Committee on Navy is considering the enactment of a law that will reduce the menace of crude oil theft in the country. The chairman of the committee, Senator Gbenga Daniel, stated this when he led members of the committee to the naval headquarters on an oversight visit. Senator Daniel explains that the committee is ready to work with the Navy to halt the menace, while he noted that the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative is reporting that within a period of 5 years, 4.3 trillion naira worth of crude oil was stolen from over 7,000 pipeline vandalisms.
The committee will ensure that proper legislations are put in place. Apart from reducing criminal activities, it is clear that the Nigerian Navy is underfunded.
The House of Representatives Committee on Finance has resolved to place the National Lottery Commission on status inquiry and will be inviting external auditors to audit the account of the commission from the first day of its establishment. This resolve was reached during the hearing on the MTEF and FSP, where lawmakers queried the spending of the commission running into deficits. The Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, Tussle, has been speaking on the alleged assassination attempt on Edison Ahi, Speaker of one of the groups of the members of the House of Assembly in Rivers State. The CP told journalists outside the Executive Council chambers of the Rivers State Government House after a courtesy visit on Governor Siminalayi Fubara that the preliminary investigation has not revealed an attack on Honorable Ahi. Mr. Tussle, however, assured Governor Fubara of professionalism as he studies the state security situation. The Africa Progress Group, an initiative of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, has advocated a rethink of the current liberal democracy practiced in Africa, saying the concept has failed the continent. Addressing participants at the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, former President Obasanjo says the system has not worked and has not met the needs and aspirations of Africans.
We must interrogate performance of democracy in the West where it originated from.
So let's jump right into it, everyone. And we're taking you to Plateau State, where things seems to be heating up in the politics, because what has affected the #1 citizen there is definitely getting a lot of ripples. And so the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja nullified the election of Mr. Kele Mutfwang of the People's Democratic Party as the governor of Plateau State in the March 23 general elections. Thus setting aside the ruling of the Election Petitions Tribunal, which had earlier affirmed Mutfwang's election. The court declared Dr. Yowada Nantawa of All Progressives Congress APC as a duly elected governor and ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to withdraw the certificate of return it had given to Governor Mutfwang and issue it to Nantawe. The appeal court held that PDP had no structure to nominate any candidate for the elections, having disobeyed an order of the court to repeat its Congress. Reacting to the verdict of the Court of Appeal, Governor Mutfwang called it a temporary setback, saying it will not distract him from repositioning the state on the path of unity, peace, and progress. He's gone to the Supreme Court now. But there are those who think that that judgment is a variation to some of the similar case as being delivered by the Court of Appeal, by the same court. Same situation, two different judgments. But tonight, let's get some perspectives. The PDP has been reacting to this matter. At some point, the PDP said this is a capture of Nigerian judiciary with the matter of what is happening. And don't forget that the case in Plateau State seems to be quite controversial, quite interesting, because about 7 federal lawmakers have now been removed or been sent packing out of the National Assembly by the courts, and because of similar situation of the internal affairs of the PDP. So there are those who are asking the question, isn't this a pre-election matter? Let's speak with a lawyer who is a former spokesperson of the PDP presidential campaign and Atiku presidential campaign organization in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Daniel Bwala. He joins us live here in our Abuja studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Bwala, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I also mentioned that Bwala is also a member of the Lincoln's Inn. If you have it, sometimes you'll flaunt it. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
It's like being a member of the American bar in any of the states. If you go through the rigor, you'll be able to say that I've got this. Okay.
That's
so
right.
Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight.
Thank you.
There are those who will say that this is a disease, or this is a problem rather, that the PDP brought on itself. What do you think?
Well, if you say that, except now depends on the side from where you're looking at it or the perspective, because again, there are lots of people who will tell you that the judgment of the Court of Appeal is strange. You know, what I mean by strange is because traditionally we know pre-election matters and post-election matters, and that the court, one of the cardinal issues that they raise, based upon which they sacked the governor was that he violated the order of the High Court that said they should conduct primaries.
In fact, they said repeatedly.
Repeatedly.
So, and I mean, that's in fact the perspective to which I asked the question.
Yeah.
That if the court, and he's not the only person that is suffering this. Yeah. 7 members of the National Assembly of the PDP have been removed, including a very popular Dachong Bagos.
Yeah, ordinarily, election petition being sui generis, as we all know, means that it's a species of its own and should be treated on its own merit. It has procedure that cannot be, related to other proceedings in court. And that election petitions procedure provides the ground for which you can challenge the victory of someone. If you look at the Electoral Act, disobedience to court order is not one of those grounds. So a lot of people who are in the practice of law will wonder that without prejudice, even if the client slapped the judge and the judge gets angry, I'm talking of a worst case scenario, will that amount to a ground for disqualification if the election petition is sui generis? But in their own wisdom, they treated that disobedience to court order, which ordinarily would have been the court dealing on a pre-election matter, as meaning it falls under qualification, which can both be treated as pre- and post-election. That's why they now relate it to 177 of the Constitution. So if the Court of Appeal treat qualification or disqualification as that which can both be decided as a pre-election matter, as a post-election matter, then I'm happy to let you know that, interestingly, the way it has gone, the way of APC in Plateau State is likely to go the way of PDP in the Ebonyi State. So that means the court's judgment is going to come to a point where what is good for Guinea is good for Uganda. Because if you say qualification qualifies as both pre and post, then you need to look at other cases that are in court which have similar flair but distinguishable in their distinctive character, right? Which deals again with qualification, especially if you look at Section 177. It says somebody who is contesting for the position of governor must be somebody who, number one, belongs to a political party and is sponsored by that political party. So if you are not sponsored by that political party or sponsored by a wrong political party, or you have not left your political party the law's way, then they all fall under the qualification. That's what the Court of Appeal is saying. But let me tell you something, Mr. Sheun. Court of Appeal is one. So whether the Court of Appeal sat in Abuja or the Court of Appeal sat in Jos, the Court of Appeal is one court, but for administrative purposes, they are in different judicial divisions. So much so that if you are presiding judge of the Court of Appeal in Abuja, and I appear before you are making a case, and I want to refer to a judgment you delivered in Plateau, I won't say, my lord, your brother judge delivered a judgment in Plateau. I will say this court, in the case as SP and X, so-so and so-so, delivered that. So that means, and the Court of Appeal does not have that benefit that the Supreme Court has, which is that, one, Supreme Court cannot be bound by its own previous decision, right? You cannot use the previous decision of the Supreme Court to say you are bound by that. Meaning that if the Court of Appeal go this way on this matter, on all matters, if the facts are the same or the facts are similar and they fall under the principles of the law, that decision has to go that way.
So in essence, you're saying if you're to look at the Ebonyi PDP matter,
right,
and the manner in which the Court of Appeal had treated the matter and decided the case,
right,
it should be used as the same template, and the same template should be used in the Plateau matter.
Yeah.
Are you thinking that they are not treated the same way?
No, I am saying there are distinguishable facts in the sense that in the case of Plateau, you didn't conduct primaries. Now, conduct of primaries fall under pre-election.
Yeah.
Because you find ground for qualification, ground for disqualification, you find nomination, you find sponsorship, right? Sponsorship is pre-election. But this court says so long as that qualification falls within the purview as covered in the Constitution, it can both be treated as pre and post. Now, if you say this is the decision of the court in Plateau, then you have to apply that with the decision, with the case in Ebonyi. Because what are the facts in Ebonyi? The facts in Ebonyi is that the candidate of PDP went to court and challenged the victory of the candidate of OPC, who was declared winner, as one, that the candidate of APC as at the time he contested for the post of the governorship in Ebonyi, he was still a member of PDP. Why? Because one, the register of members which was filed with INEC as required by law has his name. Two, he continued to serve as Speaker of the House of Assembly even after he claimed to have defected, but never defected in the open house or in private. Four, he was paying his dues as a member of PDP. Five, even after the election but before inauguration, he continued to act as a PDP member. So in the eyes of the law, he was a member of PDP at the time he contested. Now, if he was a member of PDP at the time he contested, without prejudice to the fact that APC sponsored him, in the eyes of the law, can a candidate who belongs to two political parties contest for an election? It falls under that qualification.
When the Constitution says you must be a member of a political party.
And be sponsored by that political party. So he has been a member of PDP, was not sponsored by PDP, was wrongly sponsored by APC. So it falls under qualification. It means that if you apply the principles of the Court of Appeal in Plateau State, then it is the judgment of the court regarding the case in, what is it called, in Ebonyi is predictable.
The judgment of the appeal court in the case of Governor Caleb Mutuwang was unanimous, meaning that there were no dissenting voices. And immediately they said, look, fine, you got the majority of lawful votes.
Right.
But they upturned the decision of the trial court, which is the election petitions tribunal in the state. But they have also established that with whatever has happened, that the governor was not validly nominated and sponsored by the PDP to participate in that election.
Right.
And you look at the judgment of the appeal court in the National Assembly cases, similar to what they delivered here.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
So what they are trying to say is that there is a question.
So I'm asking if they have been consistent in the case of Plateau.
If they have been consistent in the case of Plateau, then that means the case in Ebonyi will go PDP's way. That's the point I'm saying. But the distinguishable fact, in the sense that both Plateau and in Ebonyi can both be PDP, is that in the case of the Plateau, they also added that he repeatedly, like you said, disobeyed the order of court. Now, if that was the premise for sacking him, the bigger question will be, is disobedience to the court, the order of the court, one of the grounds that can be challenged? Because if this were to be determined as a pre-election matter, then it can both be determined that way because he disobeyed what the court said, blah, 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 blah. But because election petition is sui generis, without prejudice to the fact that he disobeyed, assuming without considering he did, now is it one of those grounds? Because the court, over and over, the Supreme Court has said, you cannot go outside of the grounds as provided by the Electoral Act in disqualifying the candidate. Why? Because election petition is sui generis. So it will be interesting to see how the Supreme Court will now treat it, whether disobedience to the order of the court to conduct primaries. No longer whether the conduct of primaries pre-election can both be determined. If you go by them, yeah, you can be determined both as pre and post.
That was established, amended into the Electoral Act 2022 as to what constitutes a pre-election matter and the time to which that can be determined, and those who believe that that cannot be transported into an election matter.
Yeah, but even though if you look at, I think, section 27809 of the Electoral Act, where it says the person who can challenge whether or not you are eligible must be somebody who is a member of that political party who has participated in the conduct of primaries. That is to say, if a member of PDP is the one that were to challenge it, he has to show that he participated in that primaries. But they are saying that if you are a member of another political party, you can challenge it under Section 177 and no longer Section 29 or 28 or 29 of the Electoral Act.
Which several times the court has told, especially after the amendment of the Electoral Act, the court has told those who have gone to court in other political parties challenging winners in other in an election, saying, look, this is not your business because it's a matter in that political party.
This Court of Appeal in presidential elections said so. Supreme Court repeated. So, you see, Mr. Sean, our electoral jurisprudence is getting to a point where it is no longer what you know. The court is still predictable. Without prejudice to what you know, and what is the stare decisis in respect of the matter. And the reason I say that is because at every stage of appeals, you can point at two decisions by the same court that are contradictory. Now, if it were to be Supreme Court, that's why some of us have started advocating that with respect to the Supreme Court, it's about time the Constitution of Nigeria be amended to deal with two issues that makes the Supreme Court sometimes inconsistent in judgment. Because you see, there is one dictum that the Supreme Court is not fallible because it is final. It is not final because it is infallible, but it is infallible because it is final. So if the Supreme Court commits a mistake, that mistake is the law because it's the final court. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a constitutional provision where you will not leave that latitude and said, if the Supreme Court delivers a judgment that is A, B, and C, the court must be bound if any fact comes to that court that relates to that. Meaning that when you go to Supreme Court and you know there is a legal precedent regarding the matter, both the petitioner and the respondent, both the appellant and the respondent will know the end of the matter. The second one is that the Supreme Court is not bound by its previous decision, meaning that tomorrow morning you and I can go to Supreme Court and argue on A, and they will decide this way. Next tomorrow, another set of people will come and argue on A, they will refer to this, and Supreme Court say, you can't bind us, and to go the other way. So Supreme Court now, as a court of policy, delivers judgment, but hardly you find justice in those judgments. You won't blame them because they're hiding within the presence of what they call procedure or the law as they deem fit. But then you know the justice of the case is that the votes of the people never counted. Look at the decision of the Court of Appeal in Kano. You know what the presiding judge said in the judgment? He said, where a candidate is carelessly sponsored and nominated by a political party, that selection is a nullity. It doesn't matter if he won the highest votes.
So it's on technicality that such a candidate will be uprooted out of the race.
Yes, because when they say it doesn't matter how many votes he won, then that means no longer the wishes of the people. That means it's technical procedure.
But does it also speak to how politicians and political parties also conduct their own affairs? Because if the PDP had put its house in order,
right,
the man who had won this case, this governorship election with over 500,000 votes, will not be in any legal quagmire. He'll be sitting pretty, you know, other than having a situation where his election is now being threatened by the technicality of what his party did and did not do at the primary level.
But in the presidential election, PDP put his house in order. Did the PDP win? So this is my point. And I'm saying that our eyes are now, you know, they hate it when you say all eyes are on the judiciary.
Are you saying that, I mean, things are being, they are confusing the manner in which the court are deciding?
The court is more unpredictable as the days go by. Now, let me tell you.
Based on how the law is.
Yes.
There is the way the law is and the way the law is ought to be.
Yeah.
So sometimes the manner in which the law is right now.
They give it to you like that. Now, but sometimes in the past, Supreme Court being a court of policy, when they look at it, they will say the mistake of somebody cannot be visited on the client. That means we are not going to be bound by technicality. We look at the substance of the case. They've done that several times. Then there are times that we wake up. It's like somebody waking up in the morning. He feels good. He does something. He works, or he feels somehow. He does the other way. Either way, you don't blame him because he has something to back it up. Right? So if it is justice, then it should be not just the law as it is, but looking at the intention of the lawmakers, looking at what is the overall objective of election, that the voice of the majority should bring the person. Right? Now, but the biggest culprit, the biggest evil in the 2023 election across all levels is INEC. Because have you seen the mystery of INEC? In my practice of law, let me tell you, there are times you appear in court, right? Maybe you tender a document from the bar, and in the course of proceedings, you now object to that document. The court will draw attention. They say, Boala, do you know the implication of what you are saying? The document you tendered, you're objecting to it. The court is trying to tell you, are you okay? But in this 2023 election, INEC will certify a document for you. INEC will be in the court raising objection. And the court has never cautioned them. So we will get to a perfection, but this election regime has left so much to be desired. But my eyes is focused on Ebonyi. Because if the way the judgment is going, parties are saying this is -1, we score 1 goal, this one we equalize, we score, you equalize, then if you are saying that we have an own goal in Plateau State, we score a valid goal in Ebonyi State.
What do you think, legally and politically speaking, are the implications of this Plateau governorship tussle?
This is what I think, that if the Plateau State governor goes to the Supreme Court, because certainly with this judgment, there are so many issues to be tried. There are questions that the Supreme Court will determine, right? No, since 1999 till today, there is no jurisprudential law that has ever gone, in my view, maybe I don't know, to the Supreme Court where in election petition, the court invalidated the victory of a winner on the ground that he disobeyed the order of the court in a pre-election matter. So this is germane, this is new, this is novel. It will be interesting to see how the Supreme Court delivers. And if the Supreme Court will be careful about the consequential effect on cases all across Nigeria.
And of course, I mean, there are those who believe that as a court of policy, the Supreme Court might be very careful in removing or sitting a governor.
I don't think that the Supreme Court has ever been that frightened. What they do is that they sit, if your facts are not, when you make your case, the options are two. They look at, they glean, they look at, usually they are to try the decision of a court below. It's not a trial court that you will start putting a lot of blame on them. And usually when appeal comes to them, they will either say, we agree with the judgment of that case, or I will give you a good example. In Hope Uzodimma's case, you know, a lot of things were said to castigate the Supreme Court because it has never happened. But if you look at the Hope Uzodimma's case, it is very similar to the decision which favored PDP in Nasarawa State. Because the plus and minus which INEC refused to do is what the tribunal did, for which they now removed the governor and then endorsed the candidate of PDP. So that's how the Supreme Court is. You have to understand them. There are times, because people who are not lawyers, they may not understand, because everybody wants justice. But those of us who practice the law, we don't just follow emotions. Sometimes we look at the law, and it is our duty to also advise. I don't personally believe that every case that the Supreme Court decides, what you will come again and say they collect money. And by the way, critiquing the judgment of the Supreme Court is permissible. I have had a lot of platforms where lawyers threatened the legal profession and say, don't ever criticize the decision of the Supreme Court. No, the law develops from the time immemorial, from critiquing of the decision of court. If you go to England, the jurisprudence of law developed from that. But what you must not do is to castigate the integrity of the judges.
Right.
So I can decide, I can criticize the reasoning of your decision without impugning on your integrity.
So, I mean, on a final note, where do you see this going? It's going to be a lot of lesson for our electoral jurisprudence on one hand, and our politics in Nigeria. Where do you think? Because on the streets of Plateau, there are protests.
Yeah, I would say the people of Plateau should be hopeful, because we have never seen where election was invalidated on the ground that somebody disobeyed court order. If you look at the ground in section 134, disobedience to court order is not there. Now, the court can say, no, disobedience to code of conduct was a consequence of not conducting the primaries that we say you should do. Even if they don't conduct the primaries, right? It is pre-election, but it's more of the disobedience of the court. So they should be hopeful, because the court can give that. But our eyes as PDP, because it's now a situation that of plus or minus, our eyes are now fixated in Ebonyi. Because if this goes this way, then we have every reason to believe that Ebonyi will go in favor of PDP. And don't forget, in Ebonyi's case, even the governor, Dave Umahi, who now is in APC, when he defected, some people went to court to say, we remain the members of PDP. That candidate that eventually ran on the platform of APC, he was among those persons. So can somebody, very unique again, the case of Ebonyi too, can somebody be sponsored by two political parties? No. Can somebody be sponsored by a political party when he has not in fact left the other party? No. The third one, can somebody in apparent disobedience to the procedure of election maintain membership of a political party, run under the platform of another political party? No. Right. And all of these things fall under qualification.
Daniel Bwala, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate your perspectives and the analyses that you have given in these very heated political situation in Plateau. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thank you as always.
We'll take a break, everyone. And when we return, even more analysis will be coming this time around. It might even be more political in dissecting what has happened in Plateau State and the appeal court judgment. Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Let's go further to dissect even more on the Plateau situation, which, of course, the reactions are on the street, bonfires. Those who are getting so agitated about what is happening in the state. I'm being joined by Honorable Yusuf Gagdi. He's a member of the House of Representatives representing Pankshin, Kanam, Kanke Federal Constituency of Plateau State in the National Assembly. Thank you so much, Honorable, for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much, my brother and friend.
It does look, from the criticism and the commentaries coming from the PDP, it does look that there is a feeling that there is an APC overwhelming the PDP using the courts.
They are free to think like that. In my own opinion, we're in democracy, but at times I get flabbergasted when you get judgment in your favor and you celebrate. But anytime judgment go contrary to what you expect, you foam. It's very unfortunate. There was judgment at the tribunal level shown that was against Labour Party in Plateau, against APC in Plateau, as well as against PDP in Plateau at the lower tribunal. People should know the procedures to follow to address their political grievances, electoral grievances.
This has affected 5 members of the National Assembly, and all of them are PDP.
They are not all PDP. The beneficiaries of the judgment are not all APC.
No, but I'm saying that all of the members that have been sacked now, 5 of them are PDP.
Yes, they are all PDP.
Including your very good friend, Dachon Bagos.
Of all of them are my friends because I work with them. But in politics, your political party is more friendly than your friend in politics, in different political party. So in that circumstance, Bagos is my friend, Benilar is my elder sister, but APC is more of an elder sister and friend to me than all of them. And that is politics. It's not personal. It doesn't mean we don't correlate.
Is it true that you people in the APC have threatened the PDP using the courts? Is that what you have done in Plateau?
A lot of people have said that, but I believe if there is anybody that have threatened anyone, is Caleb Mutfang, who have addressed...
the governor
yes,
of your
course,
state.
Who have landed in Yakubu Gowon Airport in Jos. I have the video I will send to you. Address crowd in Hausa. Tell them clearly that we have entered where we are supposed to enter. We have met people we are supposed to meet. The judgment is not going to be what they expect. There are a lot of things that are secret that we cannot tell you until we get there. So
is that a defense on what you have said on the podium, said that you have boldly and blatantly, or of course, boasted about how much of the knowledge of the courts you have and the judges that you have?
You are, maybe if you agree with that, perhaps definitely you have been carried away by social media. I equally have what I said.
You said we know whom they know.
They are not even saying whom. I understand English. I am not referring to human being. From the day of my political journey, my slogan have always been, we know whom they know, but they don't know whom we know. I can give you a video reference of this statement I have made when I was campaigning for position of Plateau State House of Assembly. I can equally show you the video of those statements I have made when I am campaigning for National Assembly, my first tenure, and I can show you the video of that I have said when I am campaigning for my second tenure. Why was that not a problem to them when I was campaigning for House of Assembly and my first tenure as a member of the House of Representatives, when I always say we know whom? I don't say who we know. They should listen carefully. I say we know whom they know, but they don't know whom we know. It means we know God. Maybe I'm confronting someone that think his power can give him what God cannot give him. Therefore, the need for me to always, with strength, tell my opponent that we know whom you know, but you don't know whom we know. And in the video, the so-called video you are talking about, what did I say earlier? I said there was a judgment I will send it to you to display it in channels. There was a judgment by the lower tribunal against the APC. I say it in English. And that judgment, in the wisdom of the judges of the lower tribunal, they have done justice. As law-abiding party faithful, we obey the judgment. We know the law. We will follow the constitutional procedures of approaching the appeal court, and we will get to the final destination of governorship case is the Supreme Court. That is where we will know whom they know, and they will know whom we know. So how does that statement attributed
it's
to
being,
Austin and
if you are explaining it in that manner, because it has been interpreted, it's been interpreted as though you as a member of the APC are both thinking about how much of the judges you know and how much of them that you are.
There? Because of a governor that climbed podium to tell you that, have we misrepresented his speech of saying we have visited the places we are supposed to visit? We have entered where we are supposed to enter. There are a lot of things that are secret, and we cannot tell you on the podium here. Certainly, the judgment is not going to be what they expect. What was that more or less? That was a clear confirmation that they have asked me whether I've known any judge of tribunal. I don't know. But if I was saying that when I was a member of a state assembly, and I have the evidences of saying that, and I was saying we know whom they know, but they don't know whom we know, when I was campaigning for House of Representatives, my first tenure, and I am saying it again, why is it a problem looking at the antecedent of that statement? The statement is not correlated to knowing judges.
Why is this tussle in Plateau State now becoming a tussle in the courtroom and a contest as though the people of Plateau State they don't matter? It is what happens in the courtroom.
The people of Plateau State matter. Why is Plateau's situation different? Why was there no this kind of contestation, debate, cries, hitting of the polity, when similar decision was taken in Zamfara against the APC? Why was there no? Did you see what happened? What is happening in Plateau when similar things happen in Zamfara State? That swap almost every APC position, including State Assembly, House of Representatives, Senate, the governorship. No single protest. Of course, you may say there is protest, but I will equally, this is what happened last week. Look at the number of the people. Look, phone your correspondent in Jos. Let him tell you the kind of celebration that is happening in Jos from yesterday till this morning. I have it here, I will send it to you. Compare it to the people that gather in the name of protest. You will know that Plateau people welcome the decision of the Court of Appeal.
So if you look at Section 177, I mean, as a lawmaker, I'll try to put your mind to what the law is.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
It's very, 177, if you talk about Section 177, subsection C, not even A, B. I'm not concerned about subsection A. 177, subsection A, B, it's not related to what happened in Plateau. It's subsection C, which says that you must be a member of a political party before you are sponsored as a political party. What people don't understand, I'm not a lawyer, I'm a lawmaker. Plateau's situation varies. It's not about nomination. It has nothing to do with the case of the incumbent vice president of the Federal Republic, where Atiku Abubakar and PDP, where Peter Obi and Labour Party challenges the nomination of the vice president. No. In Plateau, we are not talking, we mentioned nomination, but in our petition, we are talking about sponsorship. Was there a political party in Plateau called PDP prior to the 2023 general election? In my opinion, as someone that is reading this constitution, I don't have it, but if you mention 177, I can tell you 177 A, B, and C of it. If you mention the Electoral Act, I participated in putting together the Electoral Act. 134, I can tell you 134C is what is related to Plateau case. Plateau case have nothing to do with, it has no relationship whatsoever with what happened in the case of Peter Obi and Labour Party, Atiku Abubakar and PDP, against the nomination of Vice President Shashima. Our own is talking about sponsorship. We are not challenged.
But is it a business of your... Sorry, let me ask you, because the way the court interprets it using a Latin maxim saying medusum inter lopa. That means that it is not, you are putting your nose in your mouth in what is not clearly your business, on which the electoral law and some of the judgments of the decided cases have said that it is only those who participate in the political party that can challenge the candidacy of that political party.
This is where we are getting it wrong, including Daniel Bola that appear here. He is making reference to party primaries. Our case have nothing to do with the primary election of PDP governorship in Plateau. Our case have to do with the fact that there are existing pronouncements by competent court of law. One, there was a court order, go and reconduct your party congresses, not primaries. Bola have made reference with primary election in Plateau more than 3 times here. Plateau situation have nothing to do with primaries of the PDP. What we are talking about in Plateau is the congresses of the PDP. There was a judgment, an order, that said go and conduct the Congress. You didn't go and reconduct the Congress. It means there must be a party before you have a candidate to stand election on the platform of that political party. And if you have defied court order, you have refused to go and conduct the Congress. Now, again, there was a by-election in Plateau between PRP, Labour Party, PRP, PDP, and APC in 2022, when Honorable Maitala died representing Josnot Basa. Election was reconducted with the 2022 Electoral Act. Now they went to tribunal. In 2022, the tribunal affirmed the position of the ruling of the High Court and equally the disobedience of the court order in Plateau. The tribunal tell them, no, please, PDP, you cannot sponsor a candidate in this by-election of 2022. There was a judgment of the Court of Appeal. Now, if Court of Appeal had ruled in 2022, in the by-election in Plateau, and from 2022 till date, the court yesterday clearly stated that they have not seen any evidence by PDP after the verdict of the 2022 tribunal that shows that they have complied with the court order and the ruling of the High Court that they don't have a structure, they cannot put anything on something that doesn't stand. If you have not given us any evidence that you have done the congresses, why do you expect a different judgment from the judgment of the 2022 in the tribunal in Plateau, both at the lower court and the federal high court?
So I'd like to ask you, Honorable, so your party is not looking to win a popular vote, it's hoping to win in the courtroom.
It's win to a popular vote because
you didn't have the popular vote.
We have.
You were defeated
we have.
by almost 100,000
We have.
votes.
Without you showing me on the screen, I can tell you, we have 481,370, and PDP is set, because I don't believe, to have 525,000 votes, 299, I agree. But have you seen our petition, and did you clearly hear what the appeal court say? The judgment, people are only concentrating on the issue of sponsorship, challenging their sponsorship to nomination. But we have very important, vital things in our petition, where the returning officer of a local government that I can say clearly, in my opinion, and based on what happened in Plateau, Mangu and Jos South local government, where elections were rigged, particularly in Mangu, how can you make a person that contested election in PDP, House of Assembly, to be the returning officer of a local government that election was rigged? So it is one thing to have the votes there declared. It is another thing to go to the crux of our petition and look at it whether that really 525 votes was the vote scored by the PDP. I don't believe so.
Let me ask you, why does it look so much that there are some interest in Plateau and around Plateau that want Mutwang out by force?
I don't believe so. I don't believe so. What was the interest that wanted APC out of Zamfara State?
And
why is that different? What was the interest that wanted APC out of Rivers State? Because the circumstances in Plateau and Rivers and Zamfara are the same.
No, but Honorable, I mean, could it be an issue of religion that is prevailing in your state? And that's why a Mutwang is being wanted out?
Is Mlentau a Muslim? Are there not Muslims supporting Mutfang? Why are people deceiving you here?
I'm asking you a question.
Okay,
not
okay.
about
I'm equally asking you.
I'm asking you. No. I'm supposed to be asking you a question.
If it's religion, it is not. I'm answering you now.
No, Honorable.
Yeah.
Mangu, that's the local government where Governor Mufwang is from.
Yes.
And there are those who believe that there are a lot of issues that, in fact, cannot even be said in public. Why Mufwang does not, some element don't want him in power. Can you tell us what exactly is going on?
The person that is telling you there are things that are not supposed to be said.
Honorable, not a person. I'm asking you a question.
Okay, I don't know.
Is that what is happening?
It is not. And these are my reasons. While giving you the reasons, I want to say this. Anybody that will come here or anywhere to tell you there are things that cannot be mentioned in public why Mufwang want to be removed, tell him he doesn't mean well for Plateau. Let him say that thing, so that he will expose those.
Is religion a factor?
It is not. Reason being that Nentawe is not a Muslim. There are Muslims supporting Nentawe. I'm a Muslim, I'm supporting him. There are Christians supporting Nentawe. There are Muslims supporting Mufwang. And there are Christians supporting him. Why is it religion? And in the whole of the position, the 5 House of Representatives or National Assembly that were declared against PDP, tell me one of those 5 positions that was given to Muslims.
Is ethnicity part of the issue?
It's not. Tell me, ask Bogos, the person that changed him, is he not a tribe from those 2 local governments? And ask Peter Gendem from PDP in Barikin Ladi. He is changed by a label, and it's not politics, it's not party. Why are people not coming here to tell you that the 5 position was not given to APCO? The 5 House of Representative members that tribunal ruled against PDP, 2 of those 5 beneficiaries are Labour Party. And they are from the same tribe. Peter Gendeng from representing Barikin Ladi is Birom.
Because
Santos that represented, that benefit from that from Labour Party is Birom.
In your
so who is saying it's politics?
In your own state,
it's sentiment, it's emotion.
In your own state, there are those. I've put a few of the factors: religion, ethnicity, and there are those who say the crisis on the plateau that have been bedeviling that state for the last few years is also at the center of all of this. And there are those who say the aliens, in quote, who are attacking the indigenes of Plateau, and some of those factors are also at the heart of all of this. Could it be so?
About attacking Plateau, I say it without any fear of contradiction that people should stop telling us unknown gunmen. Aliens are attacking Plateau, I believe that. But if you are attributing the crisis in Plateau now, some little crisis that claim life of many citizens of Plateau to what is happening here. What can you say about the crisis in Plateau when Darie was the governor of Plateau in 1999 to 2001? Was that political party crisis? What can you say when Governor Jang became the governor of Plateau and there was crisis in Plateau? Was that APC PDP? The crisis of Plateau had been there even before they putting together of APC as a political party. Why are we relating this to? Can you say that when Lalong was a governor of Plateau, Sheun, in one day, Sheun, listen to this. In one day, there have never been crisis in my local government. But during Lalong, a governor from APC, in one day, my constituents, 147, were killed by bandits, so-called Fulani bandits in one day. And out of the 147, only 5 are Christians, 142 are Muslims. Under Lalong, APC government, can you now tell me that it was PDP or any other political party that sponsored those killings? So let us speak the truth. If it is politics, let us not use our political sentiment and emotion, what we want, to justify it with what is not right. What is right, even if everybody doesn't want to hear it.
So why do they?
What is wrong is wrong.
Why do you guys?
Even if the entire people want to hear what is wrong, it's wrong.
Why do you guys want Mufwang out?
I want him out because he has no political party. The PDP have no structure in Plateau that stand him election. And I don't believe he won that election. I want him out because what is good for the good is good for the gander. If there was a standing judgment that say, if a party doesn't have structure, the entire political structure elected under that party should go like it happened in Zangpara. It should happen to Plateau because there was a ruling of the court, High Court, tribunal, are you with me? And equally appeal court that PDP have no structure in 2022. So what happened in Zamfara, if it happened, based on the position of the law, let it happen here.
If the Supreme Court, because Governor Mutfwang has gone to the Supreme Court to appeal this matter, if the Supreme Court side with Governor Mutfwang, what would you say?
We are law-abiding party. If the tribunal, lower governorship tribunal, sided with Mutfwang, and we did not protest and demonstrate and burn tires on the street of Jos, you don't expect if it rule against us, we will do anything different from what we have done.
Why is it so
we'll continue to be law-abiding.
You know, I mean, I mean, and I'm not surprised, perhaps, the reason why the PDP thinks that your party is so pained that you were defeated in the election, and that is the anger and the agitation that you're showing right now.
What is the anger? You don't know the composition of Plateau. Plateau have 3 senatorial districts. APC won election in 2 of the senatorial districts. We know the local governments that the elections were rigged. I can say it without any fear of contradiction.
Which local governments are
Mangu, Jos South. Got me anywhere. And we challenged it in the tribunal. And the appeal court equally queried that the ruling of the lower tribunal regarding to those rigging, particularly a returning officer, a bona fide member of your political party, like Bola will tell you, registered member, who have poster, contested election, both form under PDP, was the returning officer of Mangu local government to return Mutfwang as the person that win that local government.
You said you saw this coming. You said you've said it before about the situation in the PDP before the election.
I said it. I appeared in my campaign. The campaign flag off of APC in Panjshir, I was on the podium. If the PDP had listened to me, they wouldn't have contested that election. Because I had told them that we are not contesting election with PDP. We are contesting election with Labour Party and other political party. Because PDP have not, I have the tape, I will send it to you. Before election, I have said that. Because you know why I said that? I read Constitution. It's one thing to read these things and understand. I knew what happened in Zamfara. I knew there was a court order against PDP. I knew there was a high court judgment against PDP post-election. The PDP structure, not nomination, not against their primaries, against their congresses. And I know there was a pronouncement of tribunal against PDP in the case of Alkali and Aga of the by-election in Jos North. I equally know that appeal court affirmed that decision of lower tribunal. If I have read this thing, and I know section 134 subsection C of the Electoral Act that a person whose election was questioned at the time of the election is not qualified to contest election. That is the position of the Electoral Act. I participated in putting together the Electoral Act, and I am aware of section 177C of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that you must be a member of your political party before you contest election, and I am aware of those judgments. Why wouldn't you expect me to climb podium and tell PDP that don't go for this election? You have no structure. We are not going for an election.
For the interest of the people of Plateau State, what do you think is the way forward in all of this?
It should be law-abiding. There is no religion in this thing. There is no
political tension that is happening there in your state.
What is happening?
The political tension in Plateau.
Yes, there is no need for the tension. Let them behave like us. Judgment was given against APC. Well, did you hear any tension? Are we not human beings? Were we not citizens of the state? Do you think you can underestimate 481,000 votes if we wanted to protest and burn tires on the street when judgment was given at the lower tribunal? We could have done, but because we mean well for the states, we ask our political party supporters to be law-abiding. Let us continue with the legal process and get to the end. So my advice to the people of Plateau is to the people that are causing political tension and apprehension. It doesn't worth it.
All right.
It doesn't. And quote me anywhere. There is no religion. Because the beneficiaries of those 5 positions are people of the same religion. They are all Christians. And it is not tribal. Because the beneficiaries of those positions, Benny Lar is representing Lantan North, Lantan South. She is Tarok by tribe. Vincent Bedman Bulus, that took over from her by virtue of the court pronouncement, is a Tarok man from Lantan North, Lantan. Yeah. Nobody should come here and deceive anybody.
Honorable Yusuf Gadi, honorable member representing Plateau State in the House of Representatives. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, my brother.
Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimberley. I'll see you tomorrow again at 7 p.m. Bye-bye.